Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Masha, Hanson, co-founder of the Sustainable Future Foundation, to discuss driving prosperity and economic development by advocating and supporting exemplary sustainability practices. Masha, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you for having me.
You got it. And why was the Sustainable Future Foundation created?
We created the foundation as a response to the pandemic and the reaction to it that wasn't really adequate by many governments and countries. A lot of, obviously, no one was prepared for something like this. So we felt that there is a need to accumulate a group of experts that would give advice on how to handle this crisis, especially in the retail sector that was hit hardest than most industries. Yeah.
So you mentioned one of the focuses is retail. What are some other areas, and what solutions are you looking to provide?
We will have a board of experts that are advising on virology, public health, disaster response, epidemiology, and the solutions are customized to one's region and one's sector. So yeah, it really depends on individual situation of the business.
Well, one good thing that has emerged as a result of the lockdowns are the positive environmental implications.
Yeah,
will this now become an economic necessity and not just a lifestyle choice?
Definitely, that's one of the things that we focused on, that it's no longer a trend. The sustainability has become a necessity and a lifestyle choice, and a necessity for many brands and companies to proceed because of the interruption of supply chain, the interruption of travel, obviously. So it is a sort of, by default, a lot of companies have turned into sustainability, not necessarily as following a trend or even wanting to be sustainable.
Well, let's pivot to the luxury space, as that has been impacted by COVID-19. And as we know, consumer spend is a key part of the economy. So what was the impact on luxury retail and luxury travel industries, and how do you tie into sustainability?
It varies by country, it varies by region. It's a little bit of a survival of the fittest as well, because in Americas, the sort of the department store model has been already very shaky. So the crisis, the pandemic has just further pushed that down. Other countries like China is actually showing a remarkable growth in the luxury sector, because they're forced to stay in the country as opposed to travel abroad, which is a normal practice for the Chinese consumer to travel to Europe for shopping. So you may have heard of the opening of Hermes after the first lockdown, and they made something like $3 million in one day. Because people were so eager to just go and spend and blow out the money, because there is still that need for human interaction, for the interaction with the product, especially when you're spending so much money. We see that people still want to feel the product, they want to touch the product, they want to go to a beautiful store and be in that environment. So the whole experience of shopping is not just clicking on your computer and receiving the item. It's the whole experience of being in a beautifully architectural space that has been done by an amazing architect, interacting with a brand and being part of the experience, and getting that service from that brand, as opposed to something unglamorous like sitting in your pajamas at home, and just it's not as fun as going out and dressing up to go to Louis Vuitton, or I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you, but let's talk about that pent-up demand, because as an advisor to global brands in your recent position at Aman Resorts as Global Head of Retail Experiential Luxury, Will the experiential luxury market slow down in the short term as consumers revert to buying goods over experiences? You know, experiential luxury is a relatively new category. How was this market impacted, and how long do you think it might take to recover?
Sorry, repeat that. What luxury?
Experiential
Well,
experiences.
oh, experiences. Well, it's if people still want to, when possible, travel. I mean, the resorts that have opened have a lot of the resorts have a backlog, and they're fully booked in advance for many months, because they do want people have the money, who have the money, they want to participate in the lifestyle that they're accustomed to. So I don't think it affects the 0.3% that are the clients of that sector. So
Right,
as long as there are no restrictions for traveling and moving around, and there in some areas they aren't as strict, then people take advantage of that, and we see that actually strengthening. And a lot of hotels are experiencing local market surge. So if there are travel restrictions, there is a lot of travel from within the country, a lot of bookings still happening, because people want to, I mean, just move around. And have you heard about this thing in China where there is a travel experience where you can actually go on a plane, fly around, I think Shanghai, and land, just so that you have the experience of going on an airplane, and you're not going anywhere. You're just in an airplane, taking a flight, and then going back home. So
Singapore Airlines was another one that did that as well.
I believe so. So I mean, that's incredible. So we're seeing that, a lot of interesting things are happening as a result.
I know everyone is certainly looking forward to getting back out there and traveling. Masha, thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you so much, Jill.
You got it, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.